It was an event so extraordinary, many residents couldn't believe what they were seeing. Locals, either stranded or cut off by floodwaters, pulled out cameras to capture the instant deluge. Here's Alexia Osborne with some amazing amateur vision from our viewers.
For Tony Iserton, a kayak was the only way to answer his wife's SOS calls.
It looked like Niagara Falls, and the street itself was from one fence line to the other, totally like Venice.
Skip bins became diving boards and the car park a swimming pool at Kawana Shopping World. Locals frolicking in the floodwaters. This Alexandra Headland business owner began filming in despair as his store went under.
I am now trapped on the grass traffic island trying to salvage my store. Kobe, floods.
It is flood.
Nearby, kids dragged out their boogie boards. Buderim residents capturing this stormwater drain, now resembling a fountain. And take a look at this teenager showing off his capoeira skills in the swollen street. For many motorists, the deluge was unavoidable.
This is freaking insane, man.
For others, it was deliberately chased and broadcast with pride. Yet police say the videos serve as proof that residents are continuing to ignore the dangers of floodwaters, putting their own lives, as well as that of emergency services, at risk. They say, as always, if it's flooded, forget it. Alexia Osborne, Win News.
Well, attention turned to the clean-up this morning as hundreds began mopping up from yet another record rain event. Council hasn't put a figure on the damage bill, but expects it to be well into the millions. Sarah Sinclair has more on today's recovery efforts.
As day broke, the extent of the damage was obvious, discarded across footpaths. Hundreds of businesses and residents sweeping dirty water and silt from their floors. The deluge hit so quickly, leaving no time for sandbagging, most battling the downpour with no protective measures at all.
I was actually a little bit panicked. I was not sure what I was doing first. I was doing some stupid stuff like trying to sweep the water out.
It was a 1 in 100 year event or worse, that there's not much that preparations could have done in that case.
Underground car parks didn't have a chance. Fire and rescue crews came from far and wide, pumping out gallons of water, assessing structural damage street by street.
Just a disaster zone. There's just water everywhere, and there's some cars down there. There's boxes and things floating around, people's items.
Store owners had their work cut out in Mooloolabah's Brisbane Road. Robert Sylvester is devastated. His mum's curtain store in ruins. They've lost nearly everything.
The water's come in, it's 34 centimetres high.
Today, desperately trying to dry out what's left.
We're trying to salvage what we can. We're even thinking of giving the material away for free.
More than 200 homes were inundated in this area alone. The clean-up expected to take days.
Last night's event was unprecedented, and the amount of rain we've had has caught everybody by surprise.
Flood victims praying their insurance companies will cover this unusual disaster.
We've received about 100 claims so far. We expect to see that number rise over the next couple of days.
Sarah Sinclair, Win News.
And weather experts say last night's freak storm was a 1 in 100 year event. The coast recording the third most significant rainfall levels in recent history. Lauren Ritchie looks back at the region's flood history.
Sheets of rain, streets lost under a metre of stormwater. Conditions locals say they've never seen before.
It'd be about a 1 in 100 year event.
But taking a look back, they might be wrong. Long-standing residents would recall the 92 floods.
From Maroochydore to Noosa, the picture was the same. Burst riverbanks, severed roads and hundreds of homes swamped.
732 millimetres of rain fell on Tewantin and the Noosa River catchment. Roads collapsed, foundations of homes washed away.
I'm moving out, I can't live in it. They've told me I can't live in it.
Pictures not seen until April 2009. The same streets cut off, 400 millimetres falling in just a few hours.
I haven't seen this much rain in a long time.
No less than a month later, a series of troughs developed into a similar low-pressure system, 300 millimetres, forcing mass closure of schools.
I just heard it on the radio and I rang my wife and she rang she rang the school and said, yeah, might as well pick them up.
And the experts say this year's severe weather events far surpassed Brisbane's 2011 floods. Gympie's already been cut several times, the Mary River banks breaking. Pomona, Koroy left disaster zones as winds rip off roofs.
It's a little unusual because, for the last 10 years or so we were pretty much in a drought, and then the last couple of years have been a lot wetter.
The La Nina effect responsible for the big wet is weakening, but not going without a fight. Lauren Ritchie, WIN News.